Tuesday post. And so the first talk today is to be given by Dr. Satyasai Jagannath Nanda. He is currently working as an assistant professor at NNIT Jaipur, and he has received his PhD from IIT Bhubaneswar. He was the recipient of Canadian Research Fellowship from Department of Foreign Affairs and International Trade, Government of Canada for the year 2009-2010. He received the Best Research Paper Awards at ICC, at SMIT, and Across 2017, IEEE CON, etc. He is also the recipient of prestigious IEI Young Engineers Award in the field of electronics and telecommunication engineering for the year 2018-19. And he has also received travel and research grants from DSP Sir, UGT, INSA, INI. He is in charge of digital signal image processing lab at MNIT Jaipur. So we welcome Professor Satyasai Nanda, and I request Professor Nanda to start his talk. Uh, he would be delivering a talk related to optimization techniques. So I hand over to Professor Nanda.
Thanks, Dr. Pradhan, for giving me an opportunity to discuss the topics on your FDP. So I'm starting sharing my presentation.
Sure.
I believe my slides and everything is fine. Dr. Pradhan, it is visible. The voice
Yeah.
is okay.
Yeah. Voice is fine. Slides are also visible.
Okay. So here we are going to discuss about the optimization techniques, especially single objective optimization techniques and their application to data clustering. So data clustering is especially a very popular data mining techniques, which is extensively used for extracting the inherent patterns present in a particular data set. And nowadays it has become very, very popular due to the big data analytics and the Hadoop, in which it is extensively used to derive important characteristics of the data, especially when the data sets are dynamic in nature. The characteristics of data set are changing. The data sets are overlapping in nature. So in those scenarios, it plays a very vital role in determining the characteristics of the inherent features. So basically, the data clustering here it can be defined as we can able to group a particular data based on the similarity between the elements, or we can able to say that similar things can be put together, identical things should be put together so that their characteristics can be studied effectively. So this is a very simple example that there are 150 flowers are there, They all belongs to these three kind of flowers: Setosa, versicolor, and Versinica. Out of these 150 flowers, our objective is to segregate them to 50-50-50 of three groups. So for this, the characteristics features we are taking for each flower is four features. That is the sepal length of the flower, sepal width, petal length, and only three features: sepal length, sepal width, and petal length have been plotted. So if we can able to observe, so if we can able to observe that here uh, this pink color portion, that is defined by one particular cluster. After applying the clustering, these black dots, they represent another cluster, and followed by these red dots. These red dots represent another cluster. So the data has been classified into the three clusters as desired for these particular three flowers. The important observation is that this particular pink dots, they are completely separated, whereas these black and red dots, they are overlapping in nature. So that can be justified with the fact that this Setosa flower looks completely different than that of this versicolor and versinica. These versicolor and versinica flowers, they look alike. So when the things look alike, then there lies the overlapping pattern between them. So that's why these red dots and black dots, they are overlapping in nature. And these 50 flowers that belongs to Setosa, they are completely separable in nature. They can easily get classified. So when this iris data clustering is carried out by several algorithms, so one particular cluster of 50 elements that always get separated, whereas the rest two clusters you will get normally 45, 55, 46, 54, like that. Different combination of results you are going to get. So that is an example of non overlapping clusters present in a dataset. So over the time, there are several clustering techniques have been reported by the researchers. One of the very popular technique is hierarchical clustering. This particular technique we apply when we don't know that how many number of clusters are present in a data set. So inherently, if we are applying this 150 patterns, then you can able to observe that initially this data set uh, um, formulate clusters to elements which are very close to each other. This combines them. This dataset, this algorithm combines them and thereby formulate very small size clusters. So we try to determine the distance from every data element to every other data element, and then try to find out which two elements are similar. Like that, if there are 150 data elements are there, then we can able to find out almost around 75 small cluster by combining every two small elements. Then between these two small clusters, which two again small clusters are related to each other. So like that, again we try to combine them. As you can able to observe that This is a small cluster and this is another small cluster. So these two clusters are again combined to formulate a larger cluster. So like that, this type of thing, it is growing from small to large. So this is known as a dendrogram plot, in which the partitioning is being carried out, or grouping is being carried out from lower level to higher level. There is a reverse process is also there, that is known as divisive algorithm. This lower end to the higher end modeling is known as Almorrative algorithm. And from higher portion, if we will make the division into two category, then again further divide them into small category, then this is known as also divisive algorithm. So this algorithm, this hierarchical clustering is very popular when you don't know about anything about the characteristics of the data set. It will give you the effective partition. But the thing is that the computational complexity of this particular algorithm is very high, because you have to calculate the distance between every data element to every other data element. However, the clustering result, whatever you will obtain, that is fixed type. That once a particular element belongs to a particular cluster, it cannot belong to any other cluster. It will be of fixed type, and it gives you a satisfactory performance. There is another kind of clustering algorithm which has been benchmarked, is also known as fuzzy clustering. So fuzzy C-means algorithm, FCM, is very popular. So in this particular category, they say that every element of the data set belongs to all the clusters. However, their probability of belongingness to a particular cluster is high, and uh, compared to the other clusters. Like over here, these blue points, their probability to belongs to this particular cluster is highest. That means suppose 95%, but their probability to belongs to this green cluster or this pink cluster is very less. That is 2 to 3%. So, in the same manner, these green points, their probability to belongs to this green membership function is highest, but that compared to the blue one and the pink one is lowest. So, in this particular way, we can assign every element of the data set a membership function to which it will belongs to a particular cluster or not. So as every element belongs to every other cluster, so we can convert this fuzziness into crisp uh, results, that is crisp determination of the cluster, by converting the highest membership grade by assigning the particular points to the cluster having highest membership grade. That means these blue points, we will say that they are given the highest grade to belongs to this blue cluster. The green ones, they will be belongs to green cluster, and the pink one belongs to pink cluster, as their probability is very high for these particular clusters. So this algorithm is also very effective and standardized, but the problem associated it is sometimes this defuzzification process becomes complex, as it is a fuzzy clustering algorithm. So the defuzzification process at times it is complicated, and you have to depend upon various defuzzification parameters as well. And the third category, which is very popular, is partitional clustering, in which in the data set we have to determine some leaders. So if in this data set you observe that I am highlighting in this pink yellow color, that these are some few leaders have been chosen in the data set. Suppose a data set has to partition into 5 clusters, then 5 leaders have been chosen, and from each element of this data set, we determine a function which is related to these 5 leaders, and to which this function will determine that to which particular cluster it belongs. So one of the function is minimization of Euclidean distance, minimization or maximization of a function. There comes the optimization task. So clustering is formulated as a optimization task over here. That either you minimize a cost function or maximize a cost function. That means a statistical function with which you can do the partition. So the popular algorithms are k-means, k-medoids, in which the Euclidean distance minimization has been carried out. So they are widely popular because k-means has been invented around 1960, and after 50 years of its existence, still people are widely using it for the high dimensional data sets today. So that is very prominent. So in partitional clustering, mathematically we can able to say that, for example, over here there are n number of patterns are there in this particular data set. There are n number of patterns, and d is the dimensionality. So like I have given the flower example, where there are 1 to 150 flowers are there, in which n is 150, and there is sepal length, sepal width, petal length, and petal width, and d. So like that, d is 4 in that particular example. So this is generalized form in which 150 cross 4 and n cross d data is there, and we have to categorize them into a number of clusters or a number of groups. So these n patterns, we will make them into m groups. So we have to group them. How to group them? Group them in such a manner that every group or every cluster should have at least one pattern present in it. We cannot say that a cluster having empty or zero number of clusters and we zero number of elements and we are defining it as the cluster. That cannot happen. So over here, this CI is not equal to 5. That means every cluster must contains at least one pattern. Uh, and there should not be any common elements between clusters. Means if we are defining two clusters, then one element has to either belongs to one particular type. That means we cannot say that one particular fruit is apple as well as it is grape. So it has to be either apple or it has to be grape. So there should not be any intersection between the cluster. So intersection between two clusters should be 5. And if we are dividing a data set into number of groups, then the summation of these groups is equal to the data set. So if 150 patterns, we are segregating them into 3 groups, then summation of these 3 groups is equal to the total entire data set. So this is what the summation of all the cluster is equal to the entire data set. So as I discussed that this clustering or unsupervised learning, why we are saying that clustering is unsupervised learning, because we don't know that which particular pattern belongs to which particular cluster. So it is completely unsupervised. We do not have any idea. We just have the data set available with us. From there, we are trying to find out similarity between the patterns and try to formulate groups between them. So we do not have any target element available with us. So that's why clustering is always a unsupervised learning mechanism. So in this clustering, we have to optimize A function, optimize a function means either minimize a statistical function or maximize a statistical function which represent a relationship between data element to the cluster center. So the clusters or a group is defined by, mainly defined by its leader, its cluster center. So from every element in that particular data, they should obey to the characteristics of that particular cluster center. So that's why we are trying to formulate it optimization problem, and we uh, that always